Hello, what is poppin' YouTube fam? This is your boy J Money here, and I'm bringing you guys a second place deck profile, being something a little or a decent amount interesting. But I will let the profile do the talking there. Definitely be open to the possibilities here because, again, I got second place with it already, so it's already proven to actually perform, and it did exactly kind of what I wanted it to do. So I guess I'll just go in the profile real quick and show you guys exactly what I wanted the deck to do. So let's head to the laboratory.
Alright, to start off this spicy list, we got 3 Dormouse. And this is a 60 card list, by the way. We love, for some reason, playing pile decks. 3 Rabbit, 1 Cat. I know a lot of people like to play 2, but this is a hybrid deck, so we're not necessarily maxing on these bad boys. And next, we actually have our Arianas. So we are playing Maliss Labyrinth. That is kind of what we went with. We wanted to be able to fix Maliss's issue of being able to play on turn 0. And we kind of did that, right? And I know Maliss kind of suffers to like removal and stuff like that. Labyrinth doesn't really have that issue. Labyrinth can cover a lot of the weaknesses that Maliss had, which is nice, right? If you get Lancia, you're fine. Because you can just play with your lab cards. If you get shifted against lab, 1, you can chain your furniture cards, and 2, you could still play Maliss. So, like, this deck was very difficult to stop. It was very hard to stop. So, 3 Stovies, 3 Chandeliers, and we are going a little bit heavier on the lab engine. 3 Butlers. Again, we're trying to play on turn 0 as much as we possibly can. So that also gives us 3 Ku-Klux. Again, we want to play on turn 0 as often as possible. And you want to maximize on the cards that allow you to do just that, and which is play on turn 0. 2 Silver Castles. The thing about Lady, especially Maliss, is, I mean, Lady triggers even when you can trigger her turn 1, obviously, not just with the furniture, not with just lab cards allowing you to flip things up, but the Maliss cards also say, hey, you can activate us the same turn it was set, so Lady can then start getting other trap cards from your deck and making your board just that much harder to deal with. So even if you don't open like Ariana, for example, right? If you just have any furniture in your hand or a Ku-Klux or whatever, and then you could just anything to trigger Lady, and you're just playing with Maliss cards, at that point, Lady becomes a much better card. So yeah, 1 Lovely being able to set your Maliss trap cards back as well is also very valuable. Definitely nothing to scoff at. And we do play 1 Pink Girl. We play 1 Ariane because of the full combo, right? If you want to be able to, if you can pop off turn 0, or if you can just pop off the very first turn with like triggering like big welcomes and all that stuff, you can set rollback and send rollback to graveyard and just have the full combo if you need to. 1 Shervar because we are on the Unchained Engine, right? I mean, you're playing Fiends in this deck, right? Why not make Yama? Now, we are actually playing some danger cards. These danger cards are very good discards for your furnitures. This is the second best danger to discard. You know what's the best danger to discard? Because you're trying to play on turn 0? Danger Bigfoots. These cards, I honestly should probably play. Should have played Bigfoot at 3. I missed not seeing it enough. Like, I'll see like a furniture in hand with like Nessie, which is fine. It keeps cards in your hand, but you want to be able to disrupt a little bit on turn 0, right? Like if you got Ku-Klux and a furniture, But, you know, you got like a Bigfoot, like you get the pop-a card with the Bigfoot that you just discarded with your furniture, and you get to trigger like your big welcomes and either go for Ariana to start your engines, like before you even start your turn, or you could summon a Lovely and get rid of another card. Your choice, right? So aside from the Bigfoots, we got 2 Jackalopes as well. Again, good discards. 1 Such, it being a reptile, actually comes up because of Haggard Lizard Roast, and you just get the draw. You know, if you don't need to banish a Maliss, then you could just banish the Such and draw a card. I did want to make space for at least 1 Chupacabra because it is a fiend monster that you can use to just turn into a Yama, but I felt like the Such, it was a better discard, just turn 0 if you didn't have any other dangers in your hand, which it was. And the thing to bridge Maliss and Lab together is Balance Lord. And what I mean by that is its effect when it's banished. So this is typically your target you banish off of Red Ransom, and if it's banished, you can summon a level 4 lower monster from your hand. So Ariana typically comes out of your hand if you're already playing Maliss. And yeah, now you got access to your lab engine. 1 Code of Soul, we are still playing Terahertz. We want to at least have some spell trap negate, especially post side, when people are trying to like back row remove you. Like Evenly is being played, Duster's being played, Lightning Storm is still being played. So you kind of still need to have an answer for those cards, and like Judgment is a counter trap. It's not necessarily a normal trap, so you can't really do too much with that. So yeah. Anyway, that is enough for the other complementary engines. The last few cards that we want are 3 Perulias and 3 Fuas. The reason why these are the only like non-engine we're playing, and that is because this deck doesn't really want to stop the opponent from playing. This deck really wants the opponent to try to play. And so what these 2 cards allow you to do is they allow you to play on turn 0 a lot more, right? So if you don't open your Butler plus Big Welcome, if you don't open your Ku Clock, but you open a Furniture, for example, these cards get you into, like, they increase your chances of playing on turn 0, as well as drawing you into dangers and drawing you into Bigfoots and things like that to disrupt the plays a lot more as well. So these had dual purpose other than just drawing cards. The cards you were drawing were likely going to get used on turn 0, and they were not hand traps. Like, the name of the game with this deck is just play the game. Play the game as often as humanly possible. That's kind of what you wanted, right? I don't really care to stop the opponent from playing. I just need to make sure I play the game. Spell cards, 2 Malice and Underground. Really good. You won't often activate it. You'll just search it and then just banish it with Cheshire Cat to draw 2 so you can get into more lab cards and such. Speaking of lab cards, we still got the 1 Labyrinth, the field spell. We're playing a Labyrinth setup. Labyrinth setup is extremely good. If you resolve this card, you win the duel. Essentially, you basically win if this card just goes off. For those of you who don't know, you target 2 of your Labyrinth spells or traps that are banished or in the graveyard, except setup, shuffle them into the deck. Then if you control Fiend Monster, you can set non-Labyrinth normal traps from your deck with different names up to the number of cards that you shuffle back in. Now, this is good for multiple reasons. 1, Detonator is now in the game. Detonator can easily nuke your field spells, big welcomes before they go off, things like that. Maliss can banish your cards. Maliss can banish your field spell. They can banish with the trap card and with Heart Scripter and things like that. So there is a lot of things that will deal with your Labyrinth cards before you even have the chance to really get them off. And this card is just another one of those really good recovery cards, and it just gives you hella fuel, right? You're gonna have a Fiend on the field more times than not when you resolve this card, so the card overperformed all day, right? And that's only because I knew that my cards were going to get interacted with a lot more. The last spells were 3 Allures. Obviously, you want to banish Maliss cards, but Dangers are darks, Labyrinth cards are darks. The whole deck is dark. So, getting into your other engines other than just Maliss is also pretty nice. I side this out every time, like post-side, because if my opponent knows that I'm on some sort of Maliss, they're going to side Lancia, they're going to, and all that, and so I don't want to be sitting on a dead card. So, traps. There's actually not too many traps. For starters, we got 3 big welcomes, right? That you just want to see it so you can play turn 0 as much as possible. And then we got our 3 Maliss traps. We got 1 MTP, 1 GWC, and 1 TB11. Again, these cards being able to activate the same turn it was set makes Lady a lot better. Like a much better card, right? So even if you didn't see any furnitures, if you activate TB11 turn 1, right, you can then just activate Lady and summon her out, and then if you flip over any of the other ones, you're going to get, you can just fetch for Big Welcome and whatnot, and then just reset the GWC. So, yeah, there you go. Anyway, 1 Escape to the Unchained, because again, we are playing the Unchained package. 1 rollback for full combo. And, funny story, the rollback was extremely live because I did play a Maliss matchup. So it was essentially a mirror match. So the rollback, being able to copy my opponent's Maliss traps, helped me out as well. Right, I copied his MTP when I didn't have access to any Maliss cards to just add me a Maliss to start my engines on the next turn. And now rollback was in the grave and I got Big Welcome just chilling there. So at any point, you know, the Big Welcome kids just start popping off. Like it was very interesting. So yeah, 1 Daruma Cannon and 1 Tears of the Overroot. Honestly, the Overroot probably should have been what's his name? It should have been the other trap card. It should have been the Archfiend's Ghastly Glitch or whatever that shit is. Because just being able to Foolish a Fiend, like, it will end up being replaced in there, especially now that we got a bow. A bow is probably going to be something that is going to be a lot more necessary moving forward. So, yeah. That is it for the main deck, guys. Extra deck, we got 1 Link Decoder. We made this a lot. We made it a lot. Hagar Lizardros, we made this a lot as well. Just standard stuff. IP, though, never made it. Weirdly enough. SP, I made like 1 time. I probably made SP 1 time. We did go into Muttcracker a decent amount, though. Again, for some reason, like, it doesn't seem like these 2 decks even go together, but it just works. Weirdly enough. 1 Yama, 1 Soul of Rage. I did want to play the Red Dog. I did want to play, oh, man. Anguish, yes. Anguish is the red one, right? I do want to play Anguish, I just didn't have space. Honestly, I could have made space, but I didn't think I had space. But when I actually played the entire tournament, there was just a few cards that I just didn't even use. IP was one of them. And so here we are, onto the Maliss extra deck. 1 White Binder, 1 Red Ransom, and 1 Heart Scriptor. Obviously, you're going to go into all of them. It's a Maliss deck. If you go into all of them, you probably win the game. 1 Protect Code Talker. I went into this quite a few times as well. Firewall, I went into it quite a few times. Terahertz, I made it a few times. As well as Deceive Worm. This is the whole reason why we even played Terahertz in the first place. I know it's kind of old. That's kind of like the old way to play, but you know, that spell Trap Negate in the face of all these spells now is so valuable. It's so important. and Chaos Angel. Made this a couple of times. The Chaos Angel, you know, it's typically often dark focused, so it's not really unaffected. It's not until we get into the side deck. So you guys may be a little surprised, maybe you're not, but the side deck, where a good portion of the side deck is actually the Fiendsmith engine. So Moon, Requiem, Sequence, Desiree. So that's 4 cards, 5, 6, 7, 8. So half of our side deck is just for a minimal Fiendsmith engine, right? The Fiendsmith engine definitely enables a light and dark Chaos Angel. And the Fiendsmith gives you more things to kind of play into. Often, if you know for a fact you're going first, the Charmage just gets sided out, and I just side in like the Unchained stuff. And if I'm playing against Maliss, I am also siding 2 Ghost Spells instead. Again, I don't really care to shut down the Maliss package or just shut down the Maliss engine, because I'm playing Maliss myself as well. And the Ghost Spell just... Again, this is before we got a Bell, but Ghost Spell being able to just shut down the GWC was so vital and so valuable. You know, just being able to just stop things from coming out of the grave in general was nice. So, Bestials just were not that... They just weren't that appealing to me. But Bell on... and just in Maliss in general was not... Just when it was time for me to play... Just having Bell in hand after they essentially went full combo, and they just are just completely relying on GWC was, oof, it was amazing. But now you got a Bow you got to worry about too. So, 2 of the new Mulcharmies, that was also for Maliss, to be honest. And for everything else, 3 Power Sync Stones. This card overperformed every time I saw it. It was basically game. So, yeah, that's the deck, guys. That is Maliss Labyrinth. Maliss Labyrinth, guys, what'd you think about it? It's a pretty unorthodox Maliss deck in general. Honestly, no, there's way more Labyrinth cards than Maliss cards, so I would call it a Labyrinth deck featuring Maliss. How about that? Yeah, let's go with that. But again, like a lot of the weaknesses that one deck had was covered by the other one, right? If Maliss's weakness was anti-banish, I'm playing Labyrinth, so who gives a shit? Who cares? It's like, I'll just play Lab. Unchained, basically. I'll just end on freaking Soul of Rage plus Escape and Labyrinth stuff. Like, I don't have to... So you're just wasting side deck, right? You're just essentially wasting side deck. But if you side against Lab, I'm playing Maliss, so... yeah, like, it was very easy to get into both. Getting into both was a real treat, right? Honestly, what really carried a lot of this stuff was the Dangers. The Dangers, being able to, like, summon Bigfoots from deck, let's say, with Jackalope, bouncing with Big Welcome, so you had it in hand for when it was time for your opponent to start playing, and then you fired off a welcome card, and furnitures went back to your hand, and then you immediately discarded them with furnitures to set, like, let's say, a setup, and just pop another card. It was... That stuff just could not be... It was very understated as to how good that was, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted Chupacabra, because Chupacabra is a fiend monster that you could have summoned off of the field spell. You could bounce it off of the welcome, discard it, summon Bigfoot, bounce the Bigfoot, and whatnot. So that would have been nice, but hindsight's 2020. Anyway, guys, let me know what you guys' thoughts are regarding this list. I got a couple other videos that are coming as well, so stay tuned for that. But with that being said, guys, that's it for me. This is J Money, and I am signing out.